All right. So now we're done talking about manipulation. We are going to move on and talk about the two other features of experimental research design, which are comparison and randomization. But let's start with comparison. So now I know you're probably pretty familiar with these terms, the control group and the experimental group. So when we say comparison in experimental research, when we manipulate our IV in a particular group of people, we want to be able to compare that with another group to see whether there will be a difference in terms of their DV later on. And that group is your control group. It's also known as the status quo. It does not receive the intervention in the experiment, and sometimes it's referred to as the placebo group. In coding your control group, sometimes some experimenters refer to it as level 0. In some cases, level 1, but more often, level 0. The other group is the experimental group, and it is the group that receives treatment or the intervention, and it is the group where the IV or the independent variable is being manipulated. So take note, it's not the people we're manipulating, actually, it's the independent variable that we wish to study in that particular group. Now, the experimental group is often referred to with levels or conditions. So, if you start out by saying that your control group is your level 0, then you'd normally then call your experimental group level 1. Okay? And then, like, let's say if you call your control group your level 1, then you call your experimental group level 2. Okay? And sometimes you don't just have one experimental group. Sometimes you can have 3 or more, depending on your research problem and depending on how you wish to operationalize your independent variables.